Welcome again to the Talking Michigan Transportation Podcast. I'm Jeff Cranston. This week, to continue with the Black History Month theme, a look at the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise programs, otherwise known as DBE, administered by state DOTs on behalf of the federal government. First, I'll be speaking with the administrator of that program for MDOT. Later, I'll talk with one of the minority-owned business owners that has had great success in Detroit, due in part to the support of the DBE program. Okay, so once again, I'm speaking with Lisa Thompson, who is the administrator of MDOT's Office of Business Development, and included in the tasks that office performs are monitoring, administering the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise program I mentioned previously. Lisa, thank you for taking time to be here.
Thank you, Jeff. It's good to be here.
So let's first talk about you and your background and, how you came to this job and how it stokes your passions.
Well, I began at MDOT actually out of college with no thought that this was going to be a long-term place for me because I am not an engineer. I have my degree is in urban policy. But when I started working at MDOT, I found out that there was an office at MDOT whose mission was to handle things like external civil rights, small business development, training for historically underserved communities, to get them into programs, apprenticeships. And so when I learned that, I realized that this was something that I really enjoyed and actually that I really felt was a positive contributor to the state of Michigan. And so 30 years later, I am still here. Well, and you've taken on even more duties as your office has kind of grown in its responsibilities, and business development obviously doesn't just mean DBE, doesn't just mean helping disadvantaged firms. It means developing business all the way around. Just talk about, why that's necessary and why a DOT needs to do that. Transportation is truly the backbone of the economy. And without good, vibrant transportation, most of the things that we appreciate, we cannot do. And so what small businesses, they are by far, they hire the most people, and more so than large businesses. There are more of them. And having those small businesses participate in government contracting, it's good for the economy. It is good for individuals. It's good for the state of Michigan. It's good for our bottom line, more competition, better pricing. So our office provides support for firms that are wanting to do good quality work for MDOT. And we support them not just in their activities. A lot of them, small businesses, they know how to do the work, and many of them know how to do the work very well. But running a business has a lot of other things involved in it. It has planning. It has financial and business knowledge. There's personnel-related things, lots of things that companies don't think of. And the responsibility of our office is to help them to grow as a business, and also help them navigate the bureaucracy that can be government work. And so we spend most of our time helping to train and support these firms, helping them connect with contracting opportunities, and just generally helping them as people. So we're going to profile some successes, and later on in the podcast, I'll be speaking with Rhonda Rowe, who's the owner of Rowe Trucking. And you've dealt with a lot of successful businesses. You're in that kind of that zone, the kind of profession where success often means seeing somebody leave the program, which means that then the burden is back on you to try to help others so that you can keep trying
trying to hit your goal, right? Can you talk about
Yes.
that dilemma?
Yes, I can. It's a good one to have. We are, as when you say that, it causes me to think about a couple of firms that have actually left our program in the last 6 months. And these are companies that have been DBEs for as long and longer than I've been administrator of this office, and they've outgrown the program. And so, what that means is that we've done our jobs. We have helped them to be self-sufficient, to do good work, to feed their families and other families. And it's a really good feeling, because I'm working, I'm getting paid, but I'm really acting as a civil servant. I'm really doing something to help other people and to help the economy. And so that is really fantastic. But then you are correct. When companies grow and they exceed the program, then I'm happy for them. But then we have to get back on our horse and we have to find new folks to participate, new businesses, and then we have to start training them all over again.
Yeah, absolutely. I can tell when I talk to you about this that you actually are passionate about it, enjoy it, and like you said, it really is civil service, public service.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about those goals, how does the federal government set those, and how do those make their way to the DOTs?
Well, okay, this is what happens. Our program is the federal law requires that a program like the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program has to be narrowly tailored, which means it has to specifically address the the disparity or the difference between what the involvement of small disadvantaged minority businesses would be, but for past discrimination. So the feds, they just tell us how to set our goals. They don't set them for us. We look at the market for the state of Michigan, the companies that perform transportation related work, the types of work that we as a state are going to be doing over the next year. And we include census data. We take lots of information that allows us to specifically determine who in Michigan is ready, willing, and able to work on MDOT projects and to calculate the DBE goal associated with work for the state of Michigan. And then we send that to the federal government, and we have to show our work. So we don't just send them a number. We send them our explanation of what we did with the data we found. We send them comments that have been made by the public, because we give the public a comment period, and we actually send them verbatim every comment that we've gotten, and talk to and explain to the federal government whether we were able to incorporate that comment into our decision making. And then they will review what we've done, and they actually review it for people like me, people that practice this every day. But then they also have to have their lawyers review it as well to make sure we are working within the law. And so we have done that for this particular this fiscal year. And so this fiscal year, our DBE goal for the entire state of Michigan is 9.5%. So we're hoping that 9.5% of the work that MDOT will let this year will go to disadvantaged business enterprises.
So I mentioned earlier that I'd be talking to Rhonda Rowe later. You've highlighted her among other business owners that have been successful in the program. Could you talk a little bit about that and how that how that business has come to be the success it is?
Yes, Rhonda she grew up in this type of business. Her father owned the trucking company. And then when she took it over, of course, one of the one of the things I like about this job is that you get to know people. And so Rhonda, of course, and her dad had slightly different ideas of which direction the company should go in. And, there's always that navigation between, you know, first generation, second generation. But Rhonda has navigated that so well. She's grown that company, the trucking firm, from the type of trucking that her dad did all those years to I don't want to say a more up-to-date firm, but she's updated their procedures and processes, increased their revenues, been able to get additional equipment to take them into new markets. And it's just, it is her success and others like her, just small business owners doing good work, it really invigorates me personally. I really enjoy that part of my job. When I started doing this job, I was one of the people that are in the field. We call them investigators, but they go and they meet the companies and they interview them and determine whether or not they qualify for the program. And then other individuals help these companies by specifically working with them on the kind of training they need, the kind of software they should be using, and things like that. That part of the job makes it so that I know people, people like Rhonda and what's going on in their lives and in their businesses. And it's actually one of the things that I miss being an administrator right now is I don't get to meet and spend as much time with the companies as I used to. And Rhonda's one of those companies that the success that she's had and the way she's been able to grow and add to the staff and become an active part of MDOT. It's really good to see. It's really good to see.
So obviously those successes sustain you and your staff, and that's what you want to hold on to. But you also have obviously some failures.
Yes.
Sometimes not their fault. These businesses worked really hard and did everything, and circumstances were just against them. But what is that like?
Business is difficult. I often talk to small businesses because I have when I say is I have a job, okay? They have a lifestyle. So the small businesses with whom we work, they work, 24 hours a day. They sleep, but very little. They live and breathe the company that they're starting. But starting a company is hard. And so sometimes the market changes. The thing that they were providing is suddenly provided by a computer or is suddenly provided some other way. And it is a part of doing business, but it is difficult because their lives, they have taken their life's goal and put it into something. And so when it doesn't work out, it is unfortunate. It happens quite a bit with small businesses. And we also, we work with them and we try to help them. We hear their stories. And sometimes we can direct them to other areas of opportunity. We have good close relationships with other agencies that support small businesses, like the Small Business Administration in the federal government and other agencies. And we have at times been able to point a business that's not doing so well with MDOT to other opportunities and other options for them. So sometimes we can help, and sometimes there's just nothing to be done. But life is about our experiences, and we do our very best.
Yeah, I think so too. I guess I'd like you to talk a little bit about, we're celebrating or putting a spotlight on the program because it's Black History Month, but DBE does not just mean Black businesses, obviously. So could you talk about what all is encompassed in the term?
Absolutely. So a disadvantaged business, the program that we're in was actually started in the 80s under Ronald Reagan. And it was based on the recognition that historically it had been difficult to impossible for women and minorities to find meaningful employment in the highway construction trades. And so the Reagan administration, along with Congress, began the first iteration of the DBE program. So the DBE program includes individuals, well, women, all women, on all women-owned and controlled businesses. It includes Asian, Pacific, Hispanic, African American, subcontinent Asian, Native American. We have Alaskan Native companies, all sorts of individuals who come from historically underutilized communities. So our makeup for the DBE program is it is about 50% women of all races and ethnicities, and then there are men businesses owned by men as well, who come from the different protected groups that are involved in the program. And also individuals with certain physical disabilities may also qualify.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good one to point out. And I think it's really important for the public to see a workforce, whether it's, MDOT itself or whether it's the businesses that MDOT support, with employees that look like them, that look like the public and reflect the makeup of society. So that's a goal we should all be shooting for, and it's what we want our kids to see too.
Absolutely, absolutely. I especially am, excited because the number of women-owned businesses who I have seen grow out of this program has been, truly gratifying for me because the construction industry is a difficult one for women to break into. And we have had some real successes with our program. And I think that is absolutely fantastic. It's a testament to the way the world is changing, and that the construction industry also is changing and is recognizing that a good, hard worker is a good, hard worker. And that's what they need.
Yeah. And I think you're right to point out that the glass ceiling is even thicker when it comes to engineering and construction. So it is hard work, and yes. I admire those who have made it.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Lisa. This is informative. I appreciate it, and it'll be interesting to talk to Rhonda and get her perspective from the ground. So thank you again.
You're welcome, Jeff. Thank you.
We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Know before you go. Head on over to MyDrive to check out the latest on road construction and possible delays along your route. For a detailed map, head over to michigan.gov/drive.
So as mentioned earlier, I'm back for the second segment, this time with Rhonda Rowe, who is the owner and chief executive officer of Rowe Trucking in Detroit, a family business that she sort of resurrected after her father retired and then brought him out of retirement to help with the business. Rhonda, thank you for taking time to talk with us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So let's start at the beginning, I guess, with a little bit of history of the company and, how it got from where its origins to where it is now.
So my father, Arthur Rowe, started the business, Arthur L. Rowe Trucking, in 1967. My father's a truck driver, and so he was working for another company. That company went out of business. The owner passed away, and so that's what made him decide to go into business for himself. And so then he worked on the business. That's how he took care of his family, our family, for in 2006. 2005, 2006, that's when the economy started changing, and I was working for the auto industry. And so we wasn't certain what was going to happen with that. And so I was just praying and asking the Lord which way he would have me to go. And so he brought back to me that I was going to go into business with my father back in like 96. And so I decided to go into business with him in 07. And so we formed Road Trucking LLC in March of 2007. I talked to my dad, and we talked about it and about me going into business with him. And so he had semi-retired. He was still driving a little bit, but semi-retired. And so that's how I got started with him.
So he's 89 and he's still helping out around the place, it sounds like.
He is. He'll take a truck to the shop sometimes, but he doesn't drive. But he likes to be. It keeps him. I think it gives him purpose and keeps him alive because he loves to just be around the truck. Sometimes he'll just come and sit in where we park the trucks, and just long as he's around, like when the trucks are coming in, he likes to be there when they come in some days. And or he will tell me, like, he still sits in the advisory position of like where we should take the trucks, whatever. If something's wrong with the truck, he'll say, well, we should take it here or there. And sometimes he'll take it, or sometimes one of the drivers will. But
yeah, so specifically, I talked to Lisa Thompson earlier, who, as you know, is the administrator of MDOT's Office of Business Development and oversees the DBE program. And she cites your company in particular as one of the real success stories. It gives her and her colleagues a great deal of satisfaction in seeing companies like yours thrive. And the reason that you're part of that program is you're heavily tied to the construction industry. It sounds like a lot of the trucking and the hauling you do are materials for road construction projects.
Yes, absolutely. That's what we do. That's all we do. We just haul. I mean, we work on MDOT projects and some private projects and some projects that are not MDOT, but it's all road construction material.
So given your commitment to the city of Detroit, it probably feels good to see some of these big projects take shape, whether it's construction on I-75 or Gratiot Avenue or even M1 rail, and know that you played a hand in it.
Yes, absolutely. The M1 rail. We worked for Barton Mallow. We worked on the Wayne County Jail facility, the criminal justice facility. So we did a lot of that trucking on that project too, which is not an MDOT project, but me being a DBE I'm certified through MDOT, through Michigan Department of Transportation. That helped me getting my foot in the door with that company. But also you had to be county based, which was a Wayne County certified business. So just to see the revitalization of Detroit, because my mother was born in Detroit, my father was born in South Carolina, but I was born in Detroit, and my sister. And so to see where Detroit had gone to and how it's rebuilding now, and be a part of some of those major projects, it feels good.
Yeah, I mean, your father must have been a great migration story if he came from South Carolina, so that's kind of cool.
Yes, yeah.
So talk a little bit about what it means, and I guess how specifically, being part of the federal DBE program administered through MDOT has helped the business.
So being part of the DBE program has helped us it has helped open up doors for some, like the primes have to use, if the project has federal dollars on it, they are required by the federal government to use DBEs on projects, and they have a certain percentage. So by me being certified, that got me my foot in the door. I got my call, or either I was able to bid to those on those projects, and being certified helped me get some of the awards. But then once I got my foot in the door and they saw our performance, that we were on time, that we could do the job and deliver the product, and help them to complete the project on time, that keep the door open. So that's how building relationships. That's how you get more business, is building relationships. And so being a DBE helped in that way. One thing about the program is that with Lisa Thompson and Ann Williams and Nick Sternberg and Ebony Alexander, they have been such a great help since from day one when I first started my inquiring about becoming a DBE. They've always been there to answer questions, to help me when to get the certification, and any questions that I've had throughout the years. They've always been a great help and a great resource, and that has made this DBE process, because there's a lot of paperwork that you have to go through to become certified. But Ann Williams was one of the first people, because she helps with the certification, and she's always been a great asset. All of them have that I named. They made that process an easy process, a more easier than it would be if they weren't there.
Yeah, and it sounds like you employ a number of people. How many?
Well, right now we have one full-time driver right now. We have 2 more drivers. So usually we have 3 drivers. When the season is full swing, we have 3 drivers. Myself, I work in the office, and then another full-time person and a part-time person that works in the office. And then we also work with other DBEs and other brokers to help us, brokers meaning other trucking companies, smaller trucking companies, to help us pull off the job. So with MDOT, if you are a certified DBE and just say they needed 4 trucks on the job. So right now I'm running 2 trucks, and then I could put 2 more trucks on that job, and they can be counted as the DBE dollars. Or either if I'm working with another DBE trucking company, then if he has 4 trucks and I have my 2, so that means we have 6 trucks, and then we can put another 6 trucks that are not DBE certified. So then if they needed 12 trucks, that would be a way for them to count the DBE dollars.
So what would you say to somebody if they asked you about the idea of the federal government having a DBE program and having a program specifically to help raise up businesses that are owned by people that are traditionally disadvantaged? How would you explain it and talk about it?
Well, I would tell them that the DBE program is a good program to be a part of, because it does open up doors, but you have to have your work ethic and your drive and your abilities to do the job. You have that company, whatever company it is. I would tell them you got to make sure that all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted, because yes, that opens the door, but what keeps the door open is you and how you perform on the job.
So you obviously take a great deal of satisfaction out of taking the company from where it was somewhat dormant in those lean years you talked about in the early 2000s, and 16 years later, here you are with looking forward to a heavy construction season and probably a lot of work.
Yes, it is. It's a great honor to take on, take road trucking to the next level, and to be able to, for my father to be able to see where his, so to speak, baby started and how it has grown, and the legacy that we'll continue on with. So my father, he didn't have any sons, so I'm carrying on that name will carry on.
Yeah, that's really cool. And in 1967, It sounds like when he started the business, there were only 7% of all truckers in the United States were Black. So it's really quite a success story.
Yeah, and then my daughter, my oldest daughter, is working in the business with me. She's just became full-time this year. That legacy will continue on. That's
3 generations.
Yeah.
That's nice. Well, thank you, Rhonda, for talking about this a little bit and for your support and help in spreading the news about the DBE program. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
I'd like to thank you once more for tuning in to Talking Michigan Transportation. You can find show notes and more on Apple Podcasts or Buzzsprout. I also want to acknowledge the talented people who help make this a reality each week, starting with Randy Debler, who skillfully edits the audio, Jesse Ball, who proofs the content, Courtney Bates, who posts the podcast to various platforms, and Jackie Salinas, who transcribes the audio to make it accessible to all.